Hey guys, welcome back to another evening in the Stormcave. This is a place where we're just all about sharing our favorite stories that can be enjoyed together as a family, whether it be our favorite books, our favorite movies, our favorite music. It's just all about celebrating stories and stories that we can enjoy as families. I'm your host, Grant Walker, and I'm here with my co-host, Jenelle Schmidt. Jenelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Grant. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. If you guys are coming from last week's episode where we were talking about some of our favorite Christmas movies, welcome back. We would love to have you guys stick around to enjoy hearing from us some of our favorite stories, but we'd also love to hear from you guys. We're always looking for new adventures to go on as a family, whether it's through books, movies, or music. So please, in the comments below, if you have favorite movies that go along with whatever topic we're talking about, or songs or books, please share those with us, because we're always looking. And one of the purposes of this show is both to share some of our favorites with you, ones that we think, oh, maybe are a little bit off the beaten path that we would love for others to discover. But another one of the purposes is to find a community, you guys, who are willing to share some of your favorites with us so that we can continue to discover new things to share with our families. So that's a big part of the heart of what we're doing. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that I think, Jenelle, the word you used was nebulous.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about
extremely subjective.
Extremely subjective. Go ahead and fight us in the comments after you've liked and subscribed.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about what we view as perfect movies. Now, my list isn't very long, and I know that there's some movies that I would probably put in this category that I probably won't be able to recall to mind. And so it may be something that we would even revisit at a future time. So this is just based off of just where I'm at right now, today. But we're going to talk about movies that we view to be perfect. Now, Janelle, this is a question that you brought up. And so I'd like to hear a little bit what your thought process is in terms of why are you interested in talking about perfect movies, and what do you even in your mind use to qualify a movie as being perfect?
Yeah. So I actually got this from Alan Arnold, because he made this comment in one of his sessions at Realm Makers a couple years ago about thinking that a movie was perfect. And I started thinking about, well, what does that mean? A perfect movie. And I was like, it doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite movie. It doesn't necessarily mean, well, this is a movie that I like, because we can like movies that are, well, yeah, I can see the flaws, or I can see that. But I feel like a perfect movie, for me, again, this is very nebulous, it's very subjective. Everybody's rubric is going to be different for how they determine what a perfect movie is. But it's kind of, you could watch it over and over and over again, never get tired of it. There's not a wasted word. There's not a wasted scene. Everything just kind of comes together and works, is how I would describe it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best movie, or sorry, that's backwards, actually. Some of the movies that I love, I very much love, but I wouldn't call them perfect. Does that make sense? Like,
yes, oh, for sure.
Like a perfect movie should be a best movie. It should be a, but it does, just because I don't think that a movie is perfect doesn't mean I don't love it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There's many movies on the list that I would say I love. And there's even movies, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, talking about when we talked about dad movies with Andrew Swearingen, when we were talking about the idea of movies that maybe we would have some hesitation recommending, but we love them personally, or we would love to share them, but maybe not with our kids at a younger age. Right. So yeah, I think the list of movies that we love is probably expansive, whereas the movies where we would say that movie was perfect is a little bit more selective, hopefully.
Yeah.
So because you brought this topic up,
yes,
it'll be interesting to see if there's any crossover on here, because I probably only have a handful that I can think of that I would put in this category. But go ahead, lead us off with your first perfect movie.
Okay, so I was trying to come up with just a few, and in the past, as I've been thinking about this, because again, I've only started thinking about this recently, and some of it because my daughter is wanting to go into film and is making films, and so kind of thinking about, okay, what makes a perfect movie, and so I'm going to start this. I'm going to start with a cartoon.
Fair enough. It's your list.
So I think I would call the very first animated How to Train Your Dragon a perfect movie. Everything about it hits just right. The action beats, the humor beats, the drama, the way that the characters progress, the character arcs, the various stories going on with multiple characters, and just how everything pays off in the end. And we talked about it a little bit when we did talk about How to Train Your Dragon a while back when the live action came out. And there's like a scene that they left out of the live action that just kind of, it was like, oh man, that didn't hit as well later because it wasn't a payoff. It was just a fluke when they get the big, it's the red death. Some people say it's the green death. I have this whole argument with my kids. I was vindicated the other night. We were watching an episode of the TV show and they said the red death. And I was like, I was right. Anyway, but
no
there's
child
like,
can defeat me.
No. So, but yeah, it's just that like Hiccup's, who he is as a character, everything just works always. And so yeah, that's one that I would call pretty close.
I would agree with that. I think the score is phenomenal. I'm just
absolutely.
trying to mention, because I agree with everything that you say. The characters, each character and the role they play and the arcs that they have are, stoic, and Hiccup, that relationship. It's fun. The writing is very witty. As a cartoon, it doesn't devolve into crude humor. It's beautiful.
Which is amazing.
It's got lots of action. It's got dragons.
It does.
Dragons. Now
the color palette, the animation.
The animation is fantastic. There's a few movies where there are scenes where it's just like, man, I feel like I'm experiencing that.
Yeah.
And something that both the animated film and the one with real dragons captured was the scene where Hiccup gets to fly with Toothless, because it's just like, you feel like you're there. And there's few things in movies where it's like, man, I wish I could experience that. And that moment is one of those times where it's just, it's I think the song that's playing is Test Flight, and it's just it makes you feel exactly what you're supposed to feel. So I would agree with that stamp of 10 for 10.
How about you?
So for me, when I'm thinking of like perfect movies, like the best movie I've ever seen in terms of the expectations I had for it and the way I felt after leaving it, I have to think of the Lord of the Rings series. And I love all three of them. I would say my favorite is probably The Two Towers, because I just remember seeing it in theaters the first 11 times. And the expectation I had is my favorite book in the series. And for me, it was amazing. It was amazing to see it brought to life.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one of them as being perfect, I would say The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
And even though The Two Towers is my favorite, the only reason I can't qualify it as perfect is because Faramir.
Yep.
That was a disappointment. It didn't ruin the movie for me. I understood, they were giving him a little bit of a character arc, and I felt like the extended editions did a good job of fleshing that story out and helping me to understand that it was just different from the books.
Yeah.
But he's a favorite character from the books, and him being the one who never succumbed to the temptation of the ring was important to me.
Yeah.
And so that was in that movie that I said is my favorite of the three. Yeah. That would be probably the only thing I could think of off the top of my head. Whereas I can't qualify it as perfect, but The Fellowship of the Ring to me is the perfect movie. I know there's some people who would say, oh, it doesn't have as much action. Well, that was okay for me because again, it was kind of like the first Harry Potter movie where you spent so much of the movie, they're just dropping you into this world. And I love that. I love it when a movie takes its time and is just, there's things that aren't necessary for the plot in that movie that I love, because it's just slowly showing you and revealing this whole world to you. And the music, the writing, the acting, every bit of it to me was perfect. And it's one of those movies that I kind of I don't watch it a lot because I just always want it to be that special movie that that for me will always kind of be the pinnacle of movie making. I don't believe that a movie like that will ever be made again, where that much care and thought and effort by every single person in the process is put into making something as beautiful and as spectacular. I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to see more movies like that.
Yeah.
But that would be, for me, the Fellowship of the Ring. Of those three, to me, that was the perfect movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. Absolutely. No other movie have I gone to see in theaters 7 times.
For sure.
So you got to put it on there.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And the theatrical, like, I only watch the extended editions ever now, right? You have the extended editions, why go back? But I didn't feel like with Two Towers, it needed the extended edition to fix that one problem that it had. Whereas I felt like the Fellowship, the extended editions just added to the brilliance that was already there. There wasn't any, it needed something, which is cool as well.
For sure.
So the next one on my list is, you're going to laugh, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
That was the next one on my list.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
well, then
so
we can both talk about it. That's fantastic. It's that one is just, it's funny because there are some parts that come close to being cringy, but they always stop just a little short. Because, like, my husband, Derek, he has to leave the room if people are doing things that are embarrassing to them, because he's embarrassed for them and he can't handle that. And so he has to leave the room. And with this one, he doesn't. He'll get close. But, and it is like Walter, he starts out, he is very awkward. He doesn't know how to interact with live humans. And but just the way that the story unfolds, the way that the cinematography is done, the even just the cleverness of the opening credits and the titles and how they're just showing up like as if they're part of the scenery is so cool. And then just the whole arc is it's just very fun. It's a very fun movie, and it's so brilliantly put together that
it is a movie that every time I watch it, I love it more. And I loved it a lot the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
But one of the things, it's funny that you talk about Derek having to leave the room whenever anyone's in an uncomfortable situation. I feel like anytime he's around me, he would have to leave the room often. My favorite things about Walter Mitty is Walter, Ben Stiller's character. He is extremely awkward, but he's not oblivious. And he's not oblivious to the fact that he's awkward. He knows when he's in an awkward situation. And to me, I relate very much to that. I would love to be an oblivious, awkward person. But to be in a situation where you say something or that this is awkward, but it's for a reason that the person on the other end of the awkwardness doesn't understand. And to be aware of that makes it more difficult in a way. But it also, what I love is the fact that it's not this bumbling guy who goes out and has this unexpected adventure. It's a very capable guy who is a little bit awkward, but the adventure that he goes on is not out of his ability, out of reach of his ability. It's only been out of reach of what the missing thing has just been the courage to do it. And that's what he finds. And I love that, because I think a lot of us are in that same boat, towards we have adventures that we could go on, and our abilities, our, the gifts that we've been given by God aren't holding us back. What's holding us back is our courage to go and do it. And there's quirky scenes, like the scenes where it is showing that, there's nobody who comes and gives him this rah-rah speech. I love that scene where he's at the bar in Greenland where he has this vision of the girl he's interested from back home up on the bar singing karaoke, and she's singing
Major Tom.
And the again, it's subtle. It's showing you all of these things that he's going through as a character, and having to make that decision of, am I just going to go back home and give up on this, or am I going to take this wild step? And so it's got those big things in it, but it's also really funny and quirky, but not in a rolling on the floor laughing kind of way. In a the humor is really good. And Yeah, I love it. It's a movie that is unlike maybe any other movie that I've seen, just in terms of its quirkiness and the character and the heart that it has, and even like the little side characters like Walter's sister. She steals the scenes she's in, relatively briefly, but yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie, and I love it more each time I see it. So definitely was on my list.
Yeah.
So you stole mine, so you're gonna have to go with another one.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So another cartoon. I have small children. I watch a lot of cartoons, but Tangled. Everything about Tangled is just beautiful. And there isn't a wasted word in that movie. And there's a lot of dialogue, but it's so beautiful in the way it looks, and it's so pretty in the story. And Mother Gothel definitely has the best villain song, and it's super underrated. Like I know people have seen it, but it got so overshadowed by the other famous Disney movie that I feel like people forgot it existed, or didn't go, like they didn't get as excited about that one. And I was like, I would pick Tangled over Frozen every day of the week. It's so much better of a story. And the characters are so much more three-dimensional, which is really cool. But
yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie. So agreed.
Yeah.
My next movie is it's not a series, but I'm going to put 3 movies together as one.
All right.
This is for older audiences. So I have not watched any of these movies with my children yet. I would probably say I would wait until 15 or 16. It's possible they could be ready sooner than that, but that's when I would probably watch these with my kids, partly because I would want them to appreciate it. I consider them perfect movies, the flaws being that they're rough around the edges in some parts. But for me personally, these are perfect movies, and it's Cinderella Man, Master and Commander, and Gladiator. And obviously the thing that ties those 3 movies together is Russell Crowe is the star of all 3 of them. But I felt like it came out right in the middle of his career, and he should have just stopped at the end of those 3 in my mind. But all 3 of those movies to me are perfect. And some of them, like Master and Commander, you have to be in the right mood to watch it, because it feels almost feels like a camera just being dropped into like that time period. It's not over the top. It's very, very, you watched Pirates of the Caribbean, or you watch, other movies, you think, man, it would have been so awesome to have been alive in that time. And then you watch Master and Commander and you think, oh my goodness, thank goodness that we do not live in that time. Life would have been so difficult. But to me, those movies, in terms of the storytelling, the characters, all of it, the writing, the production, just to me, those are my 3 probably perfect movies in my mind.
Oh yeah. I need to watch Master and Commander again. And I keep wanting to introduce the kids to Cinderella Man, because I think they would love that. They have now seen Rocky. So I feel like you have to watch that one first. I know they don't have anything to do with each other, but I feel like if you see Cinderella Man, then you can't watch Rocky, because you'd be like, okay, this is older.
For sure. Well, there have been many times, and I go back and forth, and if you ask me what my favorite movie of all time is, very often I think I would say Cinderella Man is my favorite movie of all time.
That's so good.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
I just
absolutely.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So the last one on my list is, you might laugh at this too, Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh,
with Cary Grant. And this movie is zany, but it is perfect in its zaniness. And it is perfect in that it is black and white. I feel like this movie would not work as well in color. We watched it, it was a while ago, but we watched it again. My kids love this movie. We watched it again a couple months ago or a year ago, I don't remember. And I was watching it and going, one of the reasons that this movie works so well is because it's black and white. Because it's kind of a scary movie. It's kind of like got this like Halloween theme going on. But because it's black and white, you're not distracted by colors. The director couldn't get into like trying to use color in any way to make you feel a certain way. And what he uses over and over again is Cary Grant's eyes. Every time something happens that a normal person would go, oh my goodness, what is happening here? Cary Grant, his eyes get huge and you see the whole whites of his eyes and he just stares directly into the camera. And it's so funny. And it's just like, it's like that reaction only works in a black and white movie because otherwise you'd be distracted by all the other things and you wouldn't notice the facial expressions as much. And that movie just rests on the facial expressions of everybody in the movie. And it's if you haven't seen Arsenic and Old Lace, it is an old movie. It is black and white. It might be colorized, but I would recommend don't even bother trying to watch it colorized because it is very fun. It's about a film critic, Mortimer Brewster, who has been very against romance in all movies, and he is now getting married, and he's kind of wanting to keep that hush hush because he feels like, here I am like criticizing all romance, and now I've fallen in love myself. And so he decides to run home. I think they just get married at the beginning of the movie, and then they're going to run home and tell their families. And he, stumbles into this discovery that his two aunts have been murdering people and hiding their bodies in the cellar, and all out of the goodness of their hearts. There's not a mean bone in either of these two old ladies' bodies, but anyway. If that doesn't hook you and you don't want to go watch it,
that should pique your interest.
That's all I got. But it is. I think the humor beats of that movie are just perfect.
I'll have to go watch that because it's funny because our sister Brittany was just talking about that movie the other day, and I know I saw it probably when I was at an age where I didn't understand the humor of it, and so I would like to go back and I do want to go back and watch that one again.
Well, as a kid, I thought it was a scary movie.
Yes.
As an adult, I realized it's a comedy.
Right.
So that's another one of those things where it's just fun to like, as you grow up and you realize this is not a scary movie. This is a funny movie. And
for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, we grew up watching Princess Bride and saw it many, many times before I ever realized it was supposed to be partially a comedy.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand that.
Yes.
There's probably many more that we're missing. There's some I've got more on my list that again would be for another day, probably for when audiences are a little bit older. But this just scratching the surface. We would be very curious if you think our movies on our list qualify as perfect movies, and two, what are the movies that you hold in that category of, you have your list of favorites, but then there's those few select movies that are, in your mind, perfect.
Yeah. I would love to hear what other people think are perfect movies, because the thing is, it's not even something we can argue about, because your perfect movie is perfect because you're watching it and you think it's perfect.
100%.
And that's kind of a cool thing, is that, there are movies that we can all agree are well made and well acted. And you're right, Grant, Princess Bride is totally on my list of perfect movies. I tend not to bring it up because everybody who has even met me once knows it's my favorite movie of all time. And so it's not a surprise. And so I was trying to maybe come up with some that I haven't talked about as much.
Okay, you don't have to be embarrassed about your favorites.
I love Princess Bride. But yes, and there are more on my list that I'm like, oh yeah, that definitely is up there. But yeah, I'd love to hear what your perfect movies are. We'd both love to hear that. What's a perfect movie for a family movie night? What's the perfect movie for you, just you? And so yeah, leave us a comment, let us know. And thank you again for joining us once more, coming in out of the storm and huddling in our storm cave and learning about stories, listening to us yammer on about this nebulous idea of a perfect movie. And we will see you next time.